In this video, we will introduce the prep for C1000-200 IBM MQ version 9.4 Administrator, Professional Exam. What is C1000-200 IBM MQ version 9.4 Administrator, Professional Exam? Recommended skills for success. Exam details. C1000-200. Exam objectives. Effective study tips for certification. 1. IBM MQ distinguishes between persistent and non-persistent messaging. In which scenario is non-persistent messaging considered appropriate, where performance outweighs durability guarantees? A. Legal contract records exchanged between multiple enterprises. B. Airline booking transactions that must not be lost under any condition. C. Live sports score updates streamed to thousands of subscribers. D. Banking payment instructions where every transaction is critical. Answer: C. 2. In IBM MQ, when messages must be sent across different geographic regions with strict delivery guarantees, what feature ensures that messages are not only delivered once but also survive network outages and are recoverable even if queue managers restart unexpectedly? A. Persistent messaging combined with recovery logging. B. Exclusive locks on remote queues during transfer. C. Use of non-persistent queues with faster throughput. D. Temporary dynamic queues with automatic cleanup. Answer: A. 3. IBM MQ supports message selectors for filtering messages. Which option correctly explains how message selectors function, including their limitations and typical usage in message-driven applications? A. Message selectors are expressions evaluated by the queue manager to allow an application to receive only messages that match specific criteria, based on message headers or properties. B. Message selectors automatically archive messages that do not match criteria for later processing. C. Message selectors are applied at the queue manager level and filter messages before they enter any queue, affecting all consuming applications. D. Message selectors encrypt messages selectively to ensure secure delivery to specific applications. Answer: A. 4. In large-scale deployments, administrators often configure security exit programs on channels. What is the core purpose of these exits in enterprise messaging environments? A. To replicate administrative commands across clustered managers. B. To enforce authentication and authorization rules during channel establishment. C. To provide message filtering rules that decide which subscribers receive updates. D. To automatically reroute undeliverable messages to a holding queue. Answer: B. 5. IBM MQ provides message selectors for filtering messages. How do message selectors operate in real-time message consumption? And what are the key limitations developers need to consider when designing applications that rely on this feature? A. Message selectors encrypt filtered messages for security purposes. B. Message selectors automatically archive unmatched messages to a separate storage location. C. Message selectors filter messages at the queue manager level before they are placed on the queue. D. Message selectors allow consuming applications to specify criteria based on message properties or headers so that only messages matching the filter are retrieved, but they do not remove messages from the queue or reduce server load. Answer: D. 6. In IBM MQ clustering, which of the following statements correctly explains the role of a cluster repository queue manager and how it interacts with other queue managers in the cluster to ensure message routing is efficient? A. A repository queue manager stores all messages centrally, and all message delivery goes through it. B. Repository queue managers duplicate every message across the cluster for redundancy. C. Repository queue managers only provide authentication services for cluster members. D. Repository queue managers maintain information about cluster queues and their locations, allowing other queue managers to route messages efficiently without storing all messages. Answer: D. 7. During system recovery after a sudden crash, IBM MQ must restore all persistent messages to their proper state. Which type of logging strategy is primarily responsible for guaranteeing that messages can be reconstructed accurately without data corruption? A. Periodic snapshot logging only at shutdown. B. Asynchronous deletion of expired messages from storage. C. In-memory caching with no disk operations. D. Write-ahead recovery logging with sequential records. Answer: D. 8. Which IBM MQ feature ensures that when messages are published on a topic, subscribers that were temporarily disconnected can still receive the messages after reconnecting, preventing information loss? A. Non-persistent topic broadcasting. B. Durable subscriptions. C. Asynchronous channel exits. D. Queue sharing groups. Answer: B. 9. During system design, administrators must decide between persistent and non-persistent messages. Which business scenario would most critically require persistent messaging instead of non-persistent to ensure no data loss? A. Real-time chat notifications where performance outweighs durability. B. Periodic system heartbeats that are useful only in real time. C. Streaming live stock ticker updates where old values quickly lose relevance. D. Financial transaction records that must survive crashes and be processed reliably. Answer: D. 10. IBM MQ provides several message delivery options. Which of the following correctly explains the difference between synchronous and asynchronous message delivery, and how an application might choose between them? A. Synchronous delivery writes the message to disk instantly, while asynchronous writes to memory. Applications requiring low latency choose synchronous. B. Synchronous delivery only applies to clustered queues, asynchronous only to point-to-point queues. C. Synchronous uses client-side caching, asynchronous uses server-side buffering. Applications that can tolerate duplication choose asynchronous. Desynchronous delivery waits for the message to be received by the consumer before returning, while asynchronous immediately returns to the sender. Applications requiring strict acknowledgement choose synchronous. Answer: D. Check the correct answers for each question. Subscribe Passert for more IT exam prep.